Hi, my name is Dr. Florencia and I'm a licensed psychologist and a relationship coach. I help modern day women change their unfulfilling dating and relationship habits, provide them with psychological evidence-based tools and strategies to help them create the relationships that they desire. Today's video is about how to sustain your self-improvement journey. So the first one is set realistic goals. And for this, I tend to use SMART goals. So rather than saying, for example, I want to lose 10 kg, that isn't necessarily the right way to go about it, because there are so many different variables you would have to consider. If you want to lose 10 kg, you don't know if it is going to be achievable. You didn't really give yourself a timeline or a framework for yourself. It's more or less just like a desire, and you're just betting on your motivation to get there, which does not help, right? Whereas on the other hand, if you take the SMART approach, I would then say I am committing to going to the gym to work on either my upper body or lower body for at least 30 minutes every other day. That is very specific. It is time bound, so it is measurable, because you are specific in terms of what you want to train and how you want to train it and for how long. And you can hold yourself accountable because you've got a plan mapped out, rather than something that is very broad and is very motivational based. I mean, the other could also be motivational based, but because you want to commit to the act rather than the process, that gives it a bit more weight. So the second strategy is to track your emotions before and after you do a specific activity. What I want you to do is to monitor the emotional impact a activity has. Because we mentioned the gym earlier on, I would note down going to the gym. Note down how I feel right before going to the gym. So that could be feeling anxious, could be feeling tired, it could be feeling resentful or not very motivated. All of these things, I want you to note them down, and then I want you to go to the gym, go through that process, and then when you're back, I want you to then note down how you're feeling after you've done it. So most likely it would be that you feel like you've got a sense of achievement, that you feel productive, that you feel maybe still tired, because if it is an intensive workout, then you probably will feel a bit tired, or you could feel a bit more fulfilled and feel happy, you could feel sociable, all these different things. And then I want you to rate that activity on a scale from 1 to 10 in terms of how important that activity is to you. So as you go through your week and you have monitored these different activities that you have going the week, I want you to then look over that and see, well, how much time do I invest in activities that are important to me, and how do they impact me emotionally? If they are generally high ranking and they make you feel good generally, or they improve your mental health, do more of that, okay? And the activities that you do, they don't make you feel as good, or they make you feel like you're going off track, try to manage that. Of course, we will have days that are less productive than others, or where you feel like you are not on track, but at least if you've got an overview, a realistic overview of what is going on for you in your day-to-day, you can then feel more in control, and you know where to invest your energy into. Now, on the other hand, for instance, which I sometimes have difficulties with, is emotional eating, right? I am a big emotional eater, okay? And that's also partly because I live by myself. I live quite a isolated life, I would say. You know, I don't really have people around me in my day to day. You know, I work from home and all of these things, which is a choice, of course, and it's a preference, but that does mean that, you know, socially I don't really have a lot of people around me. So when life happens, you know, which it does frequently, you know, I then resort to food as my way of coping with my emotions. And rather than sitting with emotions, as you know, I teach my clients, which I should be doing, but you know, I'm human at the end of the day. And as a therapist, you contain a lot of people, you hold space for a lot of people. So sometimes I don't really have the capacity to hold space for myself, okay? So I turn to food sometimes to comfort me. But I know by resorting to food as a way to cope with my emotions, I then feel quite bad about myself, or within myself, really, not necessarily about myself, more within myself, because I will just feel bloated. I will feel a bit worried, you know, in terms of what that kind of food on a regular basis could do to my health, etc. Because I do tend to go for, you know, just fast food and, you know, and things. So yeah, then I get a bit worried and all of these things. So inevitably, all out of that makes me feel worse, really. So it's a kind of like a vicious cycle in a sense that I then find myself in, which is then that is not helpful, right? So those are two examples that you can hold in mind when you go through this list. Before I go into strategy number 3, I want to remind you that this is a new channel, but in order for me to, you know, grow my channel and push content out, I do need subscribers. I do need people to engage. So if you do enjoy the video, like and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated and it would help me grow my channel. So step 3 is to accept and expect setbacks. So I've alluded to this already. Your journey, whatever journey it is that you're on, is not going to be linear. There will be times when you feel like you're regressing, or that you're not making progress at all, or that you feel stagnant, or that you know, don't feel as confident in your abilities, etc. All of that is part of the process, and all of that is okay, and you can give space to that because it's just you being human, okay? So don't beat yourself up when you do feel like you are regressing, but give space to that. Accept where you're at in that moment in time. Life can be very difficult, and as humans, we respond to our circumstances, right? It doesn't make us incapable or incompetent. It just makes us human, and that's okay. But one thing that I do hold in mind is when you do have moments where you feel like you have to take pause, or that you are regressing a little bit, or you're not making as much progress, or you feel like, well, some people may feel like they are failing, right? What I would then hold in mind is the quicker you fail, the quicker you can move on, right? So just to go back into my earlier example of emotional eating, you know, rather than me kind of beating myself up over it for days on end and feeling guilty and feeling shame and all of these different things, right? And then making me feel worse, that is not going to help me progress, right? That is just going to keep me stuck. That is going to keep a pattern going, or a revolving door going. And that is what we don't want, right? I would just take pause and be like, okay, well, you know what? I can just enjoy this pizza, okay? And call it a day. Tomorrow is a new day. and we move on. It is what it is. It's just food. Like, it's fine. You're not going to die tomorrow. Like, it's fine. Okay. So no one is going to penalize you. No one is going to crucify you for having pizza. Like, just enjoy your pizza. It's cool. It's fine. Or adopting that attitude of things can happen without it being catastrophic to your process. That really helps you to feel grounded and feel more in control of what you're doing. And what goes hand in hand is 4, which is to sit with your emotions, creating space for your emotions. And that is something that is quite difficult to do because, again, as I've explained, I kind of struggle with that myself as well. And I'm a therapist, right? I should be able to, to do this. But, your circumstances and the way that your life is set up will heavily influence what you have capacity for and what you don't have capacity for, right? So sitting with emotions, processing, dealing with my emotions, that is something that I find difficult. And I'm sure that there are other people out there who find that difficult as well. Now, in fact, I know for sure that there are loads of people out there who find that difficult. So practicing radical acceptance. And what does that mean? That means noticing the emotion for what it is and not fighting it or not suppressing it. So one analogy that I really like to use for my clients is just imagine yourself swimming in a swimming pool, right? And you've got this inflatable ball in the same pool. And for whatever reason, which this always happens, right? This inflatable ball comes towards you or floats towards you. And maybe your natural reaction to the inflatable ball is to press it underneath the surface, right? But guess what? The more you press it down underneath the surface, the more force it has as it comes out of the water, right? So, and that is what emotions do. The more you try to suppress your emotions, the quicker it will come back up, and with more force it will come back up. So it will feel more intense and you will feel like you can't manage it. Okay, but if you just notice the inflatable ball and you just allow it to float, or if it doesn't go away, you then just paddle away and just go about your business, and find another spot that you can, just enjoy yourself at. It makes sense, doesn't it? So what that would look like, for instance, when you are dating or in a relationship, let's say dating, to keep it simple, is when a guy that you've been dating has not been texting you. And you think, wait, hang on, like, what's going on? And your mind just goes, right? It just runs its own story, and you're creating all of these different scenarios in your head, and you're internalizing it, and you're making it about you, and you feel like, you're unworthy, or that you've done something wrong, or you're not quite sure what to do, and you're worried, and you're anxious, and all of these different things, right? Or even angry, which is also a very difficult emotion to sit with. What you can do with those emotions is to simply notice it. So you can say to yourself, I'm noticing that me not hearing from this person is making me feel anxious or unwanted, or I feel lonely, because a lot of the time it's loneliness as well that's driving a lot of these emotions. If you can notice that you're feeling lonely, now what is it that you can do in that moment to make you feel less lonely? Right? Can you speak to a friend? Can you visit a friend? Can you go to a family member? Can you link in with your community? What is it that you can do? Or can you reach out again? Sometimes we do create worst case scenarios in our minds when it doesn't necessarily have to be the worst case scenario, right? So you could actually reach out again and see if they respond. Try to respond to the situation or attend to our needs rather than depending on someone else to fulfill those needs for us. And last one is number 5, which is create a community. And I will keep bringing this point up because it's so incredibly important to have a community of people that you can connect with, because a lot of your experiences are not exclusive. They don't just happen to you. There are God knows how many people out there who are going through something similar as you are, and you can have dialogue with those people. You can connect with those people. You don't have to feel like you're on your own. Important element of this as well is that it normalizes your experience, so you don't feel like you're odd or there's something inherently wrong with you or defective about you. It's incredibly important to have. So that's the end of this video. If you want to know a bit more about self-improvement and how I went through my own self-improvement journey, then you can watch the video. It's probably linked somewhere up there. And watch that video and let me know what you think. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.